his own good, has to consider fighting someone he's already beaten or lure an opponent from another weight class. No clear and easy opponent choice. Juan Manuel Marquez, 39 years old and possibly vulnerable against Tim Bradley this fall, but the resume is historic and the last win was the best of his career. Vladimir Klitschko, 60 wins, 51 by knockout, 14 consecutive title defenses and counting. It's a historic record regardless of who he's fought, and there is as yet no end in sight. Number 5 was a chore. Guillermo Rigondeaux, only the one big win so far. Bradley, not off the Provodnikov performance. Abner Maris and Leo Santa Cruz are still building their credentials. Here's a vote for long and meritorious. Vitaly Klitschko. Not only does he almost never lose a fight, he almost never loses a round. Soon the sport will lose him to the rough and tumble of Ukrainian politics. But as a well-deserved benediction, number 5 on the TFG pound for pound. And now, either to affirm the brilliance of that list or to pillory me for overlooking what should have been obvious, we welcome HBO boxing analyst Max Kellerman. Max, how does my fight game pound for pound list stack up against yours?
Jim, you ignorant slut.
Yeah, anyway.
It's a great list if, depending on your philosophy of pound for pound. I don't think pound for pound are guys jockeying for position based merely on accomplishments. How high can you stack the accomplishments? Because there's no title shot at stake here. What pound for pound is, in my opinion, is who do you believe, regardless of weight class, is the best fighter in the world at the moment.
Okay, so who do you believe?
Well, Floyd Mayweather is the best fighter in the world. Andre Ward is the second best fighter in the world. And then you get to third. Marquez. I know a lot of people like to put Marquez in their top 5 pound for pound. He had life and death with Michael Katsidis and Juan Diaz. Guillermo Rigondeaux just outboxed, took to school Nonito Donaire. Jim, Nonito Donaire had won belts in 3 different weight classes and an interim belt, so 4 different weight classes if you count it that way. And he was decapitating some of the best fighters in the lighter weight classes in the world. They weren't competing with him. Guys like Narvaez never lost a fight. He just didn't want to get hit all fight. Nishioka hadn't lost in a million years. Proud champion. Doesn't want to punch back. As soon as he decides to punch back, Donaire knocks him out immediately. Matabula, the one guy who competed with him in recent years, is a 6-foot tough South African fighter. Oh, and by the way, that's Donaire's worst performance, he fractured his jaw.
Yes, all this is by way of saying what? That you have Rigondeaux and Donaire both in the top 5? Well,
I would say before Donaire lost to Rigondeaux, he was clearly the third best pound for pound fighter in the world. And simply because he lost to a guy who put on, in my opinion, one of the most brilliant pure boxing displays I've ever seen. Why would I drop him much below guys who've been beaten by lesser lights and also have struggled against lesser fighters? I got Rigondeaux 3rd, Donaire 4th.
I'm not going to argue with the brilliance of what Rigondeaux did that one night against Donaire, but it was one night, and oh, by the way, fans booed. Writers expressed their disapproval of the style. Even his promoter pointed out after the fight that it's going to be difficult to make fights with him. Right. So, are you sure that you want to make him the 3rd best fighter in the world?
Well, no, I think he's made himself the 3rd best. He's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Out of 400 fights in the amateurs, maybe he lost 5. He had barely lost a round in the pros, he had one rough fight. Otherwise, has basically shut out every one he's fought. And in terms of his style, the people I grew up watching fights with, all of us right now are compelled to watch Rigondeaux whenever he fights because he's the best in the world at what he does. He just shut out a dominant 3-division champion.
Whom you still keep on the top 5 pound for pound list.
I mean, what Donaire just did to guys like Darchinyan and Sidorico, pretty good fighter. Donaire smoked him. Why? Because he lost to Rigondeaux, and I completely forget what he did before. Look, if it's long and meritorious service, sure. Put Klitschko on. Put Bernard Hopkins on. But if it's who you believe at this moment is the best, Rigondeaux. And in terms of those who say he has a boring style or you don't want to watch him because the assumption is there's not a marketplace for pure boxing on that level. Look, I love World War III as much as the next guy. Provodnikov and Bradley, maybe more than the next guy. Rios Alvarado, both fights, those are great. Is there no place in the world for a brilliant boxing exhibition?
Obviously, there's a place in the world for that because Max Kellerman just ordained that there is. Let's talk about some fighters with